This is an opportunity for us to present with a full team, as Mrs. Megan Ramirez, reminded us that this is our first meeting with our full admin team. We have our VAPA principal, newly appointed, Mr. Jimmy Gordillo, joining us today. We have, of course, Mrs. Megan Ramirez, our associate principal, and continuing, with the whole effort here. We also have Dr. Slayman, our STEM principal. Thank you. So today, if we can go on to the next slide, our agenda, we're going to be covering some very important topics that are beneficial for you all to listen in on. COVID-19 testing updates. Mr. Gordillo, the new VAPA principal, will highlight himself and some of the work that he will be working to ensure our students are continuing to thrive. And of course, Mrs. Megan Ramirez, who has been doing quite some work already, will highlight the effort that the school is taking to ensure that our students are fully equipped to be ready to start high school in this new coming school year. And then we'll talk about Black History Month and beyond. So thank you, Mrs. Gallion. We're going to continue next with the COVID-19 updates, and I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Slayman.
Hi, good afternoon, parents. Muy buenas tardes. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros esta tarde. I just wanted to provide you an update. Actually, you are hearing it, straight from us. We first started today our weekly testing. So some of you may have received in your email from your students a COVID-19 testing email. It does look like the one that is showcased there as number 1. And so this email served as a purpose to be able to register your student, to be able to provide consent to them in order for us to be able to test them on a weekly basis. Now, step 1 was registering them. If in case you did not receive the email, we just attached a screenshot of what it would look like for your students. The only difference is that instead of saying staff testing registration, it would say student testing registration. This was sent to every single student email. So if you did not receive a copy or you did not have an opportunity to sign your student up, it is not too late. You are welcome to do so. Sometimes the emails, and like for me, in my experience, it went straight to my junk mail, and I thought at first it was spam. So it is coming from something titled the COVID Clinic, and this is the clinic that was hired by Chula Vista Elementary School District in order to conduct weekly testing at all the 47 school sites across the district. And so for us specifically, our testing team is coming on campus on Tuesdays. They were on campus today, and the goal was really to get every single kiddo that had consent from their parents tested. And the team was in and out in under 10 minutes in every single classroom. So that was very exciting for us to see. They were pretty much done with testing all of our staff and our students by 12 o'clock today, which is a great feat because, as you know, we have many students and many staff members on campus. And so again, just going back to what you need to do on your end in order to make sure that your student continues to get tested every single week, of course, with your consent, is 1, register them for this process. Once you have completed registration successfully, you will receive another email that where it says the number 2 there. It will look exactly like that, saying that your order has been placed for your weekly testing, and it will include an order number as well as your student's name. And so that will serve as confirmation that you have ordered the test. Now, once you have fully registered and you have an email and a password associated to it, every single week you will need to sign into the dashboard, and all you need to click on is simply reorder the test so that the following week on Tuesday when they come back to campus, your student will already be set up to be able to have their testing continue on a weekly basis. So just a couple more points to this. The tests that are being done are the PCR nasal test. So it is a PCR nasal swab test. You will get results through your email in 2 days. time 2 to 3 days. And again, just double check your spam folder if in case you're not getting it. However, we've also been reassured by the COVID clinic that inside of the dashboard, you will be able to see the test results. So if in case you missed it in an email, it should be directly there on your dashboard. But of course, if you have any questions at all in terms of testing, there is an email there provided to you on our screen. It's k12@covidclinic.org, and they should be responding to your question within 24 hours if in case there is any questions that you have in regards to testing. Now, the last point, and I'm sure there's some questions on this, if your student has tested positive within 90 days, they will not be eligible to be tested right now because, as we know, students that have tested positive within those 90 days can still come up positive on a PCR test. So if your student is one of those, we do have the names of those students, and we did provide them to the COVID clinic this morning so that your students wouldn't be mistakenly tested if in case you ordered a test ahead of time. And so we're very excited. This is, again, just another preventative measure on campus to continue to keep the safety of all students. And so, with that, if you have any questions at all, of course, please feel free to add it into the Q&A section, and we're happy to take your questions at the end. But with further ado, I'll actually turn it over to now my co-principal, Mr. Gordillo, so that he can do an introduction just to himself and to the community. So, welcome, Mr. Gordillo. We're happy to have you.
Muy buenas tardes y gracias por la bienvenida tan cálida y afectuosa. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce myself to you as the VAPA principal of Feaster Charter School. I'm honored and excited to get to know you, your children, and all the community partners. I felt so welcomed, and it's been such a wonderful experience here now in my second week here. I wanted to just share a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Los Angeles. This is currently my 16th year in education, and most recently I spent the last 12 years in Barrio Logan. Please be assured that I'm here to work together to provide all students an inclusive and safe education. Tenemos expectativas muy altas para los niños, pero también tenemos muchos apoyos para su desarrollo académico, artístico y crecimiento social. So I want to assure you that we have high expectations of students, but we also have high levels of support for their academic, artistic, and social growth. I look forward to developing the VAPA program as well as the dual language program and having your students benefit from both these programs at Feaster. My door is always open, and I'm always interested to hear from you and see you participating in your children's school events and activities. Estoy aquí para servirles. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mrs. Ramirez, and I'm the Associate Principal here at Feaster Charter, and I am going to share a little bit about the work that we're doing to prepare our 8th graders for high school. Muy buenas tardes a todos que están escuchando. Esperamos que estén en sus casas calientitos y no fuera en la lluvia. So a part of why we do so much work around high schools is because we really want to make sure that we expose our 8th grade students to a variety of options that are available for them for high school so that they can choose the school that is best fit for them. Every school is different, and there are schools that will fit a particular student that they might enjoy and be able to succeed at better than others. So some of the high schools that we have either already had come and visit or else they are scheduled to come and visit are E3 Civic High, Bayfront, Hilltop, Chula Vista Learning Community Charter School, better known as CVLCC, and Chula Vista High, which is our feeder school. We also have a field trip scheduled beginning in 2 weeks to E3 Civic High for the school to be able to speak a little bit to the students about what the benefits of E3 are. They're going to have a scholar panel there available to answer questions. So students that attend E3 that can give the kids some insight onto what they love, what it is that they love about E3. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Also, a parent flyer. If you are a middle school student, you should recognize this flyer. We sent this out. It's a overview of the 6 potential high schools that oftentimes our students will tend to choose. It just gives a quick reference or kind of like an at a glance of information about each of the schools. Sometimes the process of investigating all the different schools can be a little bit challenging. So we thought that by creating this flyer, it would sort of expedite the process. And then lastly, coming up in March, we will begin articulation for Chula Vista High School, which, as I mentioned before, is the feeder school for our district. And that is it. I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Villarreal to share with us a little bit about Black History Month and beyond.
It's a pleasure to talk about the work that our school, our students, our teachers, our community is so invested in, because we have such a diverse group of students that we serve. This month of February is Black History Month. And it was also Valentine's yesterday, so happy belated Valentine's to everyone. But importantly here, we want to share that we address the cultures through the teaching on a daily basis here at Feaster Charter School. And although Black History Month is celebrated in the month of February, our goal is to ensure that culture is, for all groups, is studied and talked about and learned in the classrooms year round. And one of the things that we're doing is we're working on with our lead team and our teachers around the teaching and learning around culturally responsive teaching in the brain, this book by Zaretta Hammond. Important because we want to teach our teachers how important it is to get to really know our students, their backgrounds, their cultures, so that we can make the learning relevant for them, so that we can help them understand that they are independent learners that are going to actually thrive more by showing agency for what they want to learn. So that is our goal. Cultural responsiveness, as this quote says here, is not a practice. It's what informs our practice so we can make better teaching choices for eliciting, engaging, motivating, supporting, and expanding the intellectual capacity of all our students. So I'd like to also highlight, Ms. Gallian, if we're able to play the YouTube video. We have an 8th grade student who is talking about the learning that he's doing in his English class around history and this topic here. And I want to have you all see how articulate, how intelligent our students are, and this is a representation of our 8th grade students here at Feaster Charter.
What are you gonna do for Black History Month?
For Black History Month, me and my fellow classmates are learning about Frederick Douglass. He was an influential African American who wrote his own narrative during his time of being enslaved. He wrote himself, actually. We are currently researching this book, and we are also getting the chance to research any African American we want. And for me, I am researching Yasuke, an African American samurai back from the Japanese medieval ages, the only one, and he worked under the emperor. Frederick Douglass escaped in 1838 and became the principal leader and spokesman for the U.S. abolition movement. Through his writing, he argued against slavery. He believed slavery was cruel, unnatural, ungodly, immortal, injustice, and evil. He was known for his book, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass. He believed African Americans were entitled to natural rights and natural law, the same as any human should, not judged by their skin color or who they are.
I'd also like to share that we also have resources for our teachers. We use the OneNote app at school to share resources. And this is a page here that you see that where we've collected resources so that our teachers don't have to go out and find their own resources. In-house, we have a lot of expertise, and this resource collection is ongoing so that our teachers have access. And we will also have opportunities to have these type of pages for other celebrations that we do around the school year to celebrate cultures. We will also be highlighting this at our board meeting tonight as well, and we'll have that link available to you as well. Thank you. This concludes our coffee with the administration. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are very thrilled to have again a complete team. We are here for you. Estamos aquí para apoyarlos, ayudarles en todo lo que ustedes necesiten en español o en inglés. Por favor, tengan la confianza de venir a hablar con nosotros, porque si no sabemos nosotros que ustedes tienen dudas, que ustedes tienen preguntas o hay problemitas que están pasando allá, si nosotros no sabemos que eso está ocurriendo, entonces no podemos proveer las soluciones que ustedes esperan que nosotros les proveamos. Por favor, con confianza, aquí está el señor Gordillo, la doctora Slyman y la señora Ramírez. Y yo también para apoyarles el señor Villarreal. Muchas gracias. Que tengan buenas noches. Thank you everyone for joining us. Again, have a great evening.